Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Small Talk. I am back with a new stock market update. I have been very busy, as I mentioned in my previous video. I was hosting at least 35 to 40 people in my house for the Thanksgiving dinner, and that was enough to get me tired. I'm back in the market. I know I'm a little behind, but I think it's still time for me to give my update and my opinion on the stocks on Monday afternoon. JPMorgan, Jamie Dimon of JPMorgan has decided to withdraw its lawsuit against Tesla on Friday. And the announcement was made on Friday that both parties are going to withdraw their lawsuit against each other. JPMorgan had sued Tesla over warrants for about $162 million, which they have decided finally to withdraw from it. And Elon Musk has also decided to withdraw his court case against JP Morgan as well. No settlement disclosure was made. We don't know how they settled the case against each other. However, it was done in a court filing with no effort to redo or resue each other again. So that which means they can't sue each other over the same thing ever again. So that was an upgrade. If you remember, in one of my previous videos, I had mentioned this because JP Morgan was the only bank which had a very low price rating for Tesla. I think it was $120 if I remember it correctly. I may be wrong. You can just fact check on that. Where everybody else was giving a price target of $350, $400, even $415. JP Morgan had price targets set at $130, of course, because they were fighting Tesla and Elon Musk. Now that that problem is out of the way, I feel like it is going to be a very positive impact on Tesla stock because more and more banks and financial institutions are backing Tesla. It's going to be better for the stock as well. Number two, this morning, the news came out that Roth MKM has upgraded their Tesla price target to a buy from a hold, from a neutral rating with a price target of $380, up from $80 of their previous target, which is $85, which is their previous target. That was pretty low. I think they were lagging a little in their effort to make a price rating on Tesla. The investment bank said CEO Musk authentic support for Trump has likely doubled Tesla's pool of enthusiasts and refiled credibility from demand inflection. So they should have upgraded this price target about 25 days ago when Trump had won. But anyways, now that more and more of stock market analysts are backing Tesla, it's going to be a very positive news for Tesla share. And it's gonna, of course, I'm always bull on Tesla. And I know with Trump taking in, being in the office next year, so much going on in the pipeline. I think Tesla, as I said, my previous target was it's going to go to $400, $415 as the analysts have declared. If this momentum continues and full self-driving, as Elon Musk had said, that they are introducing it in the early part of next year, which I think is a very aggressive target. Let's say if it happens in the next 2 to 3 years, I think Tesla is going to add another $1 trillion to its valuation, which means the Tesla stock is going to be double from this point onwards. So my goal in the next 3 years for Tesla is that it's going to be an $800 to $1,000 stock, given that FSD is fully out and running. One can argue that there are lots of autonomous cars. Sure, Tesla was ahead of everybody when it came to the EV industry. But when it comes to the autonomous industry, Tesla is not ahead of the game because there are so many other companies who have their autonomous cars already up and running. It was true 2 years, maybe a couple of years ago when Tesla was not ahead of the game. Autonomy is a feature of EVs, which means that those cars who are running right now, they have to have a driver in the driving seat. But when it comes to FSD, full self-driving, where there is no driver sitting behind a wheel and controlling it at any point of the time in the driving course, it's going to, I think Tesla is in the running and in the lead again, and nobody can catch up to Tesla. I presented an analogy in my last video, and I compared Tesla with Apple. I remember when Apple um, first came, everybody was like, oh, how far up is Apple gonna go? How many people are gonna keep rebuying the Apple iPhones and iPads, etc.? And particularly when the CEO was had died and resigned, and the new CEO Tim Cook took over Apple. Uh, it was obviously a leader-driven company and leader-driven stock, so it did impact Apple for a little while. But look at where Apple is right now. There is no end to it. You know, people are buying, upgrading their phone every time they launch a new product, new iPhone, new iPads, new laptops. People are buying into it, and the company is constantly growing. I think Tesla is the same way. Sure, it's a leader-driven company, and if Elon Musk is out of the picture, it's going to impact the stock. I totally agree with this. However, no matter who takes over the company, I think Tesla is 10 years ahead of every other EV maker in the EV industry. And therefore, it's going to take a while for other companies to catch up to it, if they are able to catch up to it. And then maybe we can compare Tesla with other companies. With Tesla utilizing NVIDIA's basically hardware, I think they have invested enough money that they're ready to pull up their FSDs, their ride hailing as well. It may not happen next year. I know Elon Musk did announce that it's going to happen in next year, but I think that's an aggressive target. If it does happen, of course, you know what's going to happen to Tesla stock. But in my opinion, I don't think they're going to be able to pull that off. I think it's going to take a couple of years before FSDs are completely up and running. And once that happens, obviously, Tesla is going to skyrocket. Also, with Trump being the president-elect, once he takes charge of the office, lots of the regulatory restrictions that Tesla and Musk would have faced otherwise are going to be eliminated, or they're going to be eased off. And that's also going to help Tesla up and running. One can argue, well, that causes lots of risk in Tesla, and it could cause lots of problems on the road and accidents. But even at the current situation where FSDs are right now, it is said that those full self-driving or autonomous cars are safer than a person sitting behind a wheel and driving the car, even at the current condition that they're in. Imagine when they're going to improve it even more within the next year or 2 years, and they're constantly working on it. They're going to use more and more technology, and they're collecting more and more data to make it better every day. I don't think it's going to be, of course, there's always a risk. Life is all about risk. So you cannot eliminate risk 100%. Even if we're driving, we're taking risk every single day and every moment of our driving period. So are the autonomous cars and FSDs. But if they're even safer as is, imagine how much safer they're going to be going forward in the next couple of years once they're completely up and running and they're tested and tried. So these arguments, these risks are, you have to take those. There is never 100% guarantee that there is nothing, no accidents are going to take place. However, if you have to pick from what is more risky and what is less risky, FSDs are even less riskier as is than if a person is driving the car. So you can take your analogy from there and make an argument based off of that. That's that. So again, my price target in the short term for Tesla is, I think, $400. Long term, in next 2 to 3 years, when the FSDs are up and running, my price target is $800. We can add another $1 trillion into the company's valuation. It will make it $2 trillion company, which means the stock has to go up as much. Next is NVIDIA. There was a pullback on NVIDIA. I think this pullback gave stock market buy the dip opportunity. NVIDIA is stock markets and Wall Street's darling right now. It's at a very initial stage of its business. AI is obviously being introduced. It's so new that I was just talking to my children the other day, and I was like, why don't you take a class of AI at college? And my daughter was like, it's so new. The colleges are not even offering AI classes. You have to still take computer science and kind of self-learn the AI once you are in the business, like a hands-on kind of learning experience, which is, that's how crazy it is. So you can only imagine how far AI is going to go. So NVIDIA is obviously going to skyrocket in the next 3 to 5 years. If you're a short-term investor, swing trader, or day trader, then I would say right now it has created buy the dip opportunity during the December Santa Claus rally. It could go up to maybe 142, $146 or even 150. So you can make some money, and then you can do your swing trade there. But I am always at least 6 months to a year long-term investor. So when I'm buying a stock, I'm looking at where it's going to be in 6 months to a year. And that has always worked better for me for two reasons. One, I don't have to pay short-term capital gain taxes because that basically brings you down a lot. So I fall into a very high tax bracket. So once I cash in my stocks and I take capital gains, half of the money is pretty much gone into taxes. So I don't really make as much. So it's better for me to hold on to those fundamentally strong companies with strong balance sheet and take profits after 1 year. That way I can cut my tax in half on capital gains. However, some of the small cap companies, I know they don't have strong fundamentals, they don't have strong balance sheets. So I do trade in those, but it's not on like a daily basis. It's more like swing trade. I would hold a stock for a month, 2 months, and I would sell it. And those I don't mind because those are small amounts. And that's just for fun. Sometimes I lose money, sometimes I make money. So that's my price target for NVIDIA. It's going to be eventually $300 stock in the next couple of years. But right now, I don't know what stock market was expecting from NVIDIA. Their reaction was just not justified at all. But that being said, of course, we cannot go against the market. Those are the money makers. They're the big, whales in the bigger pond. We're small fish in the big pond. So our money doesn't move the market. Their money does move the market. So if you're a trader, follow the trend. If you're an investor, look at the bigger picture and make your decisions based off of that. Not a personalized financial advice, by the way. What else do I want to talk about? My series of my lecture is coming up soon. My lectures are already prepared. It's going to be a very long series of lectures. As I said before, it's going to be very tedious, very boring. It's not for everybody. It's for those who actually want to learn the current financial system, the current monetary system, and the current banking industry, and how we can improve things according to our religions, our faiths, or even if you don't have any faith, if you believe in ethics, ethically, how you can make it better. It's going to be interesting for those who have interest in finance, economics, and banking. And it's going to be extremely boring for those who have no interest in this. So this is, my audience is not going to be everybody that watches my video. Is going to be a very selective individuals who have some interest in learning how the current systems work and how we can improve them. JPMorgan dropping their charges made me very happy. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, and I said it would be nice if Jamie Dimon and Elon Musk can sit down and talk it out and maybe make things work for each other, because JPMorgan is a big financial institution, obviously, and their opinion does matter. However, in the current situation, their opinion didn't matter much because everybody knew there was an issue going on between the two of the CEOs of the companies, or president and the CEO, and they had their own personal bias, and that's why the price was so low. But now this is out of the way. I think more and more clouds are clearing up, and it's going to have a shinier, brighter day for Tesla. I am very excited and I'm very happy. Looking forward to making some good money in the early part of next year. Please let me know your comments in the comment section below. Please give my video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Until next video, take care and good luck.